when you arrive on the track, let's say at 6 o'clock, it's still dark. One of the nice things is there are people running around, the athletes are running around the track, and slowly by slowly, in let's say 10-15 minutes, the lights turned on and you see who is running. It's always big groups of runners. That's a very special moment.
We are at Mo University Law School. This is a place in Eldoret called Annex. This is where most of the athletes do their training. You can see it's a big group training here.
I think when you look at injuries, it's much safer to run at a gravel track like Annex. Obviously, it's a 400-meter track, and it's in Eldoret, so a little bit lower than our camp in Cheptegei. It's around 2,000 meters of altitude, which I think it's also perfect to do some speed work.
Today we've had athletes running 800 all the way to marathon. Of course, they come here to do specific session specific to the event. The service is good. I mean, generally when you train on a tartan or a road and train here, which is a dirt track, the recovery, I mean, the stress on the legs is less, and you know, the recovery for the next hard session is quicker. We train here twice in a week for the track runners. For the marathoners, we do it once a week.
Well, Eldoret is very close to the equator, which means that there is a very stable climate, first of all. The runners feel comfortable around, let's say, 20 degrees. Well, you have that more or less all year round over there. And that's why I like it, especially when you do speed sessions. What you do in running training is by making a big volume, a lot of kilometers every week, is building a very strong aerobic base. Teach your body how to burn fat, more or less. But in the race, you also need a strong anaerobic base, especially in the shorter distances. So what you do in a track session is teach your body how to burn sugar. And the combination of the two will make you, let's say, a complete athlete. In Uganda, there is a high altitude training center with a tartan track. It's at 2,600 meters. And that also comes at a cost. That means that you have to go slower, especially if you arrive from Europe and you get over there. Then there's a big difference between 2,600 and, for example, a lot of tracks that are in altitude built between 1,800 and 2,000 meters.
We are at the National High Altitude Center in Kapshorwa, Uganda, at an altitude of 2,600 meters. The guys are doing a session of 14 times 1,000 meters. We are normally doing once a week a session on this altitude.
There is a lot of adaptations going on in an athlete's body when you go to altitude. The most well-known are an increase in red blood cell count, which increases the possibility of the body to transport oxygen. The ones I personally think are at least as interesting is also that you improve the amount of capillaries, the small blood vessels, which also bring the oxygen to the place where you need it, and that's in the muscle cell. And the big advantage of, let's say, this second adaptation, the increase of the amount of capillaries, is that it is an adaptation which stays for a very, very long time. And the red blood cell count, actually when you go down to sea level, quite fast it's going down again. So it's a very good adaptation, but it will not last forever. And the capillary count is a very good adaptation and will last for a very long time.
12 to go, eh?
The specific thing of training in Ethiopia is that you are based very close or within a big city, Addis Ababa, with millions of inhabitants. The altitude is similar, and you can train between, let's say, 2,000 and even 3,000 meters of altitude in Toto, and in between everything is possible more or less.
This place called, actually not exact Kaliti, but it is around Kaliti. Kaliti is more beside Addis Ababa. Now we are out of Addis, like 5 kilometers. And this area is popular by Ethiopian athletes for long distance training.
The long runs are normally done on a dirt road. What I like is not completely flat, but more or less undulating. So there is some climbing in it, some descending in it. Everything is there you need to have a nice long run.
Ethiopia is a high altitude country, and when you go other places much higher than this place, this is around 2,000 meters, and because of that, they can do a little bit specific training, faster, and also to recover easy when you train here.
The big advantage of running on a dirt road is the impact. You have to compare a road with a tartan track and a dirt road with a gravel track, so the impact on your muscles, your tendons of a dirt road is much lower than from running on the road. Obviously, when you prepare for a marathon, it's wise to do at least also some sessions on the road to prepare specifically, but not too much because the injury risk will increase.
As you see, it's very fine. You can run very smoothly and very fast, and they like it very much. As you see, they are coming by, and you see they are running smooth.
If you look at the typical long run, it depends a little bit on the team you're in, but it can be groups from 2 to, let's say, almost 200 athletes. And a lot of the long runs are big groups, and where they start, let's say, with 60 or 70 people, and in the end, the strongest, the fastest are in the front, and it's maybe at the end, maybe 6 to 8 people, which is a very nice view, obviously.